Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, it's me. It's Saturday. Yeah! I don't know. I mean, yeah.
It is Saturday, though.
It is Saturday, y'all. But it's me, Tamara. Welcome back to the show. For all my regular listeners, for the people, y'all that watch Youuuu, that have been tweeting at me, I've appreciated that. I love seeing people appreciate us doing this recap because this has been super fun. Super grateful that Khris really agreed to 10 episodes every week.
I'm here.
You know what I'm saying? Every week we make it happen. To all my new listeners, thanks for checking me out. If you are a fan of Youuuu and you're just coming in on this episode 4 recap, go back through the archives. I have done a recap for every episode for season 3. Other than that, I usually talk about my life and the ways I'm trying to grow, and new episodes drop generally every Thursday. And if you're not following me on social media, you totally should, especially because Podcast Happy Hour is this Friday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific on my platform. You got to check us out. Khris will be there. Autumn, Audrey, J-Boog. It's a good time. So definitely follow me on social media. The link to my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm trying to get more content on TikTok, but you know, I do a little this and that here and there. You know what I'm saying? But all that's in the episode notes. And if you missed the spoken word night, man, you missed a dope. And it was different than the last time. A lot more just kind of talking, but I loved that.
It was like mini, like, you know how like when you guys go to like an artist like unplugged and they gotta like give you like the little like snippet or rundown of where they got to.
Yeah,
and it was, like making this product. That's exactly what you got from the Smoking Poetry last night. It was super good. I was driving and then I came home and I was cooking, so I couldn't like tap in like I wanted to, but I was there. I heard everything. It was very enjoyable.
Yes, I like that because I didn't even have an outline. Everything just happened, and whatever happened. And yeah, it was really dope. So if you missed that, I will have the link to the replay. You catch the replay. Excuse me. It's only available on YouTube, so I don't do audio uploads for my live shows anymore, except Podcast Happy Hour. That's the only one. So go check that out. And yes, here we are. Oh, yes. Welcome, Khris, everyone.
I mean, we ain't got to do this all the time.
Right.
It's me. I'm here.
She's my co-host, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, of course, Khris is here. I wouldn't do this without her. I wouldn't do it by myself. That would be really weird. I feel like if it was just me, I don't know. So, yes. Youuuu Season 3, Episode 4 is titled
Hands Across Madre Linda.
That gives me very much Us vibes.
It definitely gives us very like, Hands Across America. Like, yes.
That is very disturbing, actually.
It's interesting. Interesting. I can't. That was the name of the search party? Or I don't
understand that.
I don't know that I super get the title, but
maybe because they're lending a hand to try to Natalie. So I don't know if maybe that.
I mean, maybe that's what I'm saying. Like maybe the title has something to do with the rescue the search party, I should say.
That makes sense. Yeah. Oh gosh. So guys, and this is why we only watch one episode at a time. Like, because if I had watched the whole season and then did the recap, I would know that Love's body count was not quite 2, that it actually is still one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was because we assumed that when she busts him upside the head at the end of the episode, and I was like, dang, she's strong because she bashed a nigga's skull with her little frail self. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But no, her body count is actually still just one. Gil is not dead. Well, at the beginning of the episode, he's not. Love did not kill Gil. So
I don't know that I still don't count this towards her body count, though.
I'm glad you said that because I was wondering, do we count it or not? Tell me your thoughts.
I'm going to say absolutely because we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have been here. He wouldn't have had the opportunity, the motive, or anything to do what happened. So I feel like take Love out of the equation, and he's not there. He's not where he is. He's not in the state that he's in. So I'm personally, and I was thinking about that when we were watching. I was like, that's interesting. Like, what are we gonna do with this number? I think it's still at 2. I'm gonna say I think it's still at 2.
So I agree with your thoughts, like your rationale for why. And then even to add to it, where I actually do agree with you, is the fact that though he killed himself, let's talk about why he killed himself. He killed himself because Love hired somebody to go digging for dirt, found dirt that was just like way too much.
He didn't even know he had, nigga. Like,
way too much to bear. And that's why he killed himself. So it's kind of like, one, had he not been stuck in the cage and had she not bashed him in the head, none of that would happen. So that's one, like, in favor of keeping it as 2. But then also the nail in the coffin was basically the dirt she found. So let me go ahead and change this back to 2 because I had taken it away. And you're right.
I just think that none of this happens if she didn't overreact.
Absolutely. Baylor voice.
Absolutely.
I can't. It's so funny. I can't.
Say absolutely without thinking.
I can't. And it's not like I'd never heard that word before him, of course. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
absolutely.
Yep. So, guys, I guess I was just kidding. Love's body count is still 2. That's so funny because I didn't make a note to ask you that, but that's why I started there because I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So, the episode starts with we find out that Love actually didn't kill him. The good old cage that has been a staple in season 1 and season 2, they put it back together in a previous, I think that was like episode 2, and Gil is in the cage. So we see Joe trying to negotiate with him.
Well, let's go back to Love being strong because she definitely pulled this nigga all the way down to the kill box.
Yeah,
that's what I always call it. I don't really know what they call it. I just call it the kill box.
I think that's what it is because generally everyone who's ended up in there except Love is the only person to have escaped, and that one hacker dude or whatever that Joe kept in there. So only 2 people have actually escaped the box. Yeah.
I don't know. Seeing her pull Gil into the kill box and him not being dead, like, to me, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just like, I don't know if like me and Love are just not like melding this season. But like, she, for me, like she's perverting like Joe's shit. Like, I think like she's like, I think because she's like attacking people or killing people, she feels like they're on the same wavelength, and like this is what Joe would have done. But I like, to me, she's just like really perverting like all of the like things that Joe has like created up until this point, like to keep all his shit together.
And then when you think about it though, because why does Joe kill versus why Love has reacted this season? Because in previous seasons, sure, I understood Delilah, though I didn't agree with it. Definitely understood Candace. But with Natalie, that was unnecessary, as we said last episode. And with Gil, like, Henry survived. He didn't.
She could have slapped him across the face.
Yeah,
like
that too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, I just don't understand why. Like, and I don't want to like bring Drake into this, but I don't understand why she go from 0 to 100 like real quick. Like,
but for real though, she does.
Like, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, and you could tell like there's no rationale. Like, there's no like thought process. She's just like, I'm mad. Get out of here.
Yeah. Like, I'm mad. You're gonna die, and that's just that on that. Like,
it's giving me very spoiled teen vibes. Like, I don't like it.
And then wanted to try to frame, like, wanting to constantly frame innocent people. So she wanted to frame Matthew for Natalie's murder. Had it not have been for Joe, that would have happened. Now she's like, which actually, you got. I mean, we don't know how it's gonna play out because it's only episode 4 and so much has happened. But I got to give her to her coming up with this plan. You know, I know for Matthew,
I'm not upset about it. I think that at the least, I think she's been thinking about it. I'll say that.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this was a little bit more like, I actually thought about this. I when she had said I have a plan, I was like, okay, love.
I hate it.
You know what I'm saying? But it actually was good because it's believable on both sides. Because one, Matthew, though I know that hurt, and it just kind of sucks to see him going through all this, but he knows that she was his mistress. So when you get into these situations, it's not too far off for then the person that you were cheating with to cheat on you, or vice, or you cheat on them or whatever. So that's believable on his side. And then the wife, him having found out something that she kept from Gil about their son doing, sexually assaulting someone, that's believable as well. You know what I mean? So I thought she did a good job with fixing her messes. For the first time, when you think about it, this is the first time she's actually had to fix her messes because they had people who did that in the past. So she did a good job. But again, back to your point, Joe never killed people just out of anger, out of whatever. The people that he killed were people that were really actually toxic to the person he was trying to protect. Yes. So it's kind of like even him killing his dad was beating on his mom. You hear that happen a lot. You know what I mean? So I do agree that she is tainting, though she did fix her mess, she is tainting the way Joe does things because she's so irrational and just, she doesn't think.
And she puts him in a situation in this episode where it's him and Gil downstairs. And Joe is basically like trying to find bargaining chips to be able to let this nigga go. I've never seen anything like that before, like with Joe. So like that, so I think that's that word perversion just like really like sticks out to me, just because like he is like so outside of his realm. Like of like how things are normally going, that I'm afraid that they're going to start missing. Like he's going to start missing stuff because he's so worried about picking up the shit that she's dropping that he can't. He's not standing up straight and looking ahead. If that makes sense,
right? And it seems like he's also constantly having to fight for love. You got to remember, we have a son. We can't do this to Henry. Like it seems like he's thinking about it more than she is at times.
She just don't think.
Yeah.
She just don't think.
Yeah.
But Joe's down there, and I wrote pretend to want to let him go at the beginning of the episode, because honestly, I'm like, okay, like I know Joe's not gonna let go, like whatever the fuck. But like he really was like, as the episode continued on, he was very much trying to like really figure out a way. Like you give me a secret, and then you'll keep mine, and then we good, like. Stuff like that. And that's kind of how we get to going deeper into Love's plan. But yeah, so I just thought that was very interesting. And it felt, I don't know, like it's so weird because I feel so connected to like the character sometimes in shows that I watch, that it almost felt not embarrassing to watch Joe try to bargain with this dude, but it felt unnatural, and I almost didn't want to watch, like, because I was just like, I don't like what Love is turning him into. Not to say that he was a pristine, perfect ass nigga before, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's to the point where it's just like he's doing like stuff that he would never do. Like,
and he doesn't have control. And that's the thing, is that Joe, like we said, I think 2 episodes ago, and if you're a fan of the show, you already know he's very meticulous in the way that he does things, very much in control, very calm. You rarely see him get angry. And even when he gets angry, it's like you only know because of what he's saying, not necessarily because he's like yelling and screaming and acting a fool.
Exactly.
Except Love is bringing that out in him. And so it's like he doesn't have control of him trying to fix something that he would have never done it that way in the first place. And also trying, like, he has to consider Henry, because he's like, we have to be here for him, because we keep getting flashbacks of him in the orphanage.
Who was there for him?
Exactly. And so in some ways, I don't like who she's turning into in that sense. But then again, in other ways, I guess I'd more attribute that to Henry, is really making him like, I don't want to say a better man, but parenthood should make you kind of grow up and, become a better version of yourself. And so he's really, but I guess we could attribute that to Love too, because honestly, he, even from season 2, he has been trying to be a better man. First, it was for her till he found out she was a psycho and he wanted to kill her. And then it's for Henry. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
I guess the only way I can attribute it to Love is him picking up her pieces where she's failing as a parent because she's so caught up in her fucking own personal emotions that she can't even fucking like do anything. So Gil's gone, and we realize that this nigga used to read books for kids at the library. Now we have a major problem. Now it's really like we had to let him go, or you have to kill him. And I love that part. I don't know. I know we're like jumping around, but I really appreciated that conversation that he had with Love. Like, bitch, I'm not. Like, you're not about to have me killing for you. Like, that's not what I do. I don't kill for nobody else but myself. Like, I mean, like, for the betterment of whatever. Like, and he really put his foot down. He was like, look, like, you got to send this. And I don't know what you thought I was about to go do when I went downstairs, but it wasn't what you thought. Like, I'm not doing, this is your mess, and I'm here to help contain it, but I'm not here to get rid of it. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Which I like the way we're doing this episode, though, even though we're jumping around, because we're finishing a story, and that's how it feels. Like, we're sticking with all the parts related to this story, and then kind of like we'll go to the next one. With that, him finding that Gil read stories to the kids or whatever, and I almost don't want to go here yet, but what is his boss's name?
I don't know her name.
Okay, because I don't either, and I
just wrote "oh girl." Like,
I just have Joe's boss, so
librarian. I wrote,
you know what I'm saying?
Librarian, oh girl.
But it's interesting how she's hired. Well, he's volunteering, but she's hired him. But it's almost like, why? Because you just seem so disgusted with him.
She like really low key acts like she hates him.
Exactly. And then it's like he's offering to fill in a void that you have because Gil is not there and you don't know why. No, that's okay. Like, what?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like, yeah. I mean, but like, in all honesty, if we didn't know Joe, right, and we couldn't hear his inner monologue, like, he do be sleeking and like he be slithering and shit, like through shit. So I can understand that if you don't really know him, and that's where we get that shift because she learned something about him.
Yeah,
and we get that shift in the way that she's treating him because to the outside people, I really think that Joe really can give off creepy ass vibes.
That plus, I mean, people know who the Quinns are, clearly. You think he's just well, you gotta be privileged too if you're married into this privileged family. So you also, then there was last episode when they were talking about the narrative of when a white woman's missing, oh my God, it's such a crisis. And then when a black woman's missing, it doesn't get the same press exposure. And he just was completely clueless, which I believe Joe probably really would be clueless because he's just so focused on whoever he's obsessed with that if it has nothing to do with that, exactly.
He's not looking at color and shit. He's looking at like obsession.
Yeah. So I think it's just kind of these things where and then she saw him where Natalie left the book for him and her, because it's a small town, so everybody knows how everybody gets down. So she's probably up. It's another one of Natalie's whatever. He's about to mess up his marriage. And so I just think she's built up this, not just thinking he's privileged, but just even the people that she's associated with him with and knowing how Natalie gets down. And she's built this up, but I still say you didn't have to let him volunteer there then. Like,
I mean, yes, I hear you, but the shift in the relationship makes the job situation a little bit easier. Yeah. I totally hear what you're saying. Though. Like, what is the reason?
If you don't treat your volunteers like trash, like what kind of volunteer coordinator are you? Like, where's the professionalism, ma'am? You know, but yeah, so I guess we're gonna come back to her because there's a big piece with her that we'll get there towards the end. But
Sherry.
So
your girl Sherry.
No, that is listen, and it's on
your girl.
It's on record every episode. I hate her more and more every episode. She has now started a search party. Hashtag.
Wait,
not the hashtag on the back of her vest.
Yes. Oh, I wrote it down, didn't I?
I didn't put what it was.
Hashtag Natalie come home. But let's go back to when Sherry pops up for the first time in this episode. And she goes into the bakery with this fake ass conversation as she slowly makes her way to the bulletin board.
Right. She's so
and love is like Love's face is kind of lighting up, like she's like excited that she's like talking to her. And she only came in to put that poster up that they were going to be doing a search for Natalie in the woods.
And it's like, why couldn't she just say, "Can I put this poster up?" Like,
because she a fake ass bitch.
That's why I hate her. Like, I hate her so, and it just makes me so mad that she's black. Like, but shout out.
She only got one more episode for my.
Oh yeah, you're right.
According to my prediction, we'll see.
We're gonna see episode 5 how it goes down. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Sherry had this fake conversation, as Khris said, so she could put up these search party flyers because apparently her quote unquote best friend, who's such a
ain't never seen them together,
figure in the community, she is missing. We have to find her. Hashtag Natalie come home on the back of her vest. Like, hashtag fake tear. Oh my God, wait.
But like, it was the way that she said it at the end. She was like, hashtag Natalie come home.
And then turned around so that she could, look back at it. You know what I'm saying? Whoever is taking pictures, because one of her little groupies
minions
is, I like that word better. I love how, though, because the thing about her is she smiles in everyone's faces, and then the person she's talking shit about doesn't always catch. But so far this season, Love caught her talking shit about 40's death and all of that, although she didn't confront her. But I love that Theo did. Hard life,
talking shit about
you know what
Natalie.
I'm saying? And like went in on her because that's what she needs. She needs people to stop being scared of her and expose her and call her out, because that's how you take away her power. Y'all are giving her this power.
But how effective is it when love comes right behind the cuss out and be like, he didn't mean it. He's having a bad day.
Like, love, what are you doing?
Fuck
Why
her.
are you trying to like befriend someone that you know does not care about you and talked about your family and you heard it? Not someone told you what she said. You heard it for yourself.
So knowing that you heard it for yourself, you know how she gets down, and where it to me it wasn't Love's place to get in the middle of that. Unless this nigga Theo's about to punch this bitch. Like, other than that.
Now, calm down the yelling and screaming. Sure. Okay. Right. And then go on about your business. Like, to pacify Sherry, you're doing so much when you know it's fake. Like what are you doing? I don't understand. But I wonder, because, like, when people have, you know, she has this relationship with her mom where she doesn't feel accepted because of the mistakes she's made or whatever. And I just feel like she's operating out of her woundedness in a sense, because again, this is someone who's not accepting her, and she doesn't really, because really she's done nothing to really, even the stuff Sherry's talking stuff about, Love didn't kill 40. You know what I mean? Like, Sherry has no reason to hate Love, but I think part of why is the privilege that she knows Love have, because I wonder what Sherry's upbringing was like. We don't see her family or, you know, stuff like that. And then on top of that, Love has this whole, oh my gosh, my brother was killed, like that could take away from your attention. That's why you clout chase. Oh my God, Natalie, girl, shut up. Like, please shut up. Yeah, like, I hate the way she talks. I just hate her. I hate her so much. Like,
we need her. Right? And now she needs us.
Right? Like, no, you could care less about her. Like, what are you talking about? And your friends, like her minions that are with her all the time. Mm-hmm. Y'all see, like, what is wrong with y'all? Lord have mercy. I hope next episode, you know, because it's a lot of plots and twists and turns in this season, and I'm hoping your prediction is right. I hope she don't make it through the end of the season for real.
I mean, it would be blasphemy, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it would. Because Love is going to get tired of her.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm tired of her. So, speaking of Theo, do you want to talk about the fence conversation?
Yes, we need to talk about Theo. Go ahead.
Okay, so Theo and what's the nigga name? Nick? Is it Nicholas? What's the husband's name?
Oh, Matthew. I was Matthew. Like, who's Nicholas?
I don't know. I just made that up. But Matthew and Theo are in the backyard, and Matt's like, "Yo, it's this fucking search. You coming or nah?" And he was like, "Nah." And he was like, "But you coming?" And like it was like a whole like, you know, fucking white kid, white dad argument. And then Theo was like being extra loud. He has this like thing about like volumes in his voice. I don't really know why that is, but it just like escalates very quickly. And you know, because Love is nervous and scared about the choices that she's made. She's on the other side, like Wilson on Home Improvement, listening to the conversation. When Matt goes in the house, she gets the attention, like, "Yo, did you want me to hear that? Because you a fucking brat or whatever." And she was basically like trying to make him feel bad, but she basically at the end of the conversation, she convinces him to go. And I think that after she had convinced him to go, and then the situation with Sherry and how she, in his eyes, took up for her. I guess that really irritated him because he wasn't trying to be there in the first place.
You know, I forgot about the fact that she's the one who convinced him to go and then had the audacity
to do that.
Because the audacity was enough in and of itself, but I had forgot about the part that he didn't even want to go, and he really only went because she said that she would go with him. So then it's like, and you know this man likes you. So in this, while we're here, Love is playing such a dangerous game, and it's really starting to irritate me how how selfish I actually see she is this season. I used to think she was a lot more about sacrificing for others, and I feel like she was when 40 was alive.
Right.
But since his death, granted, yeah, grief changes people and all that, but she is so selfish because this young man, like young, this 20-year-old man likes you, and you use that to your advantage to get him to go because I'll go with you. You know what I'm saying? And you just keep towing the line with him and playing this dangerous game that I'm afraid is going to get him killed because, and then he kisses you. And
like, here's the thing about the kiss.
That didn't even seem like you really meant that.
You didn't really pull back. Like, because, like, you kind of just let him kiss you. And then you, like, fucking reprimanded him for it afterwards. Like,
you let him flirt with you. You let him do all the things you let him do, but then try to say your mouth. Ooh. I almost see. Damn.
All right.
He didn't ruin music, but your mouth. You're telling him no, but your body language and everything else is telling him yes. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really. You're saying no, but you're going along.
But
with
her
it.
body.
No. I almost, but
I know.
No, absolutely not. And if y'all missed that, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, so she is making me so mad because why did you kill Natalie if you're gonna sit here and play with this kid? Like,
right.
And I mean, technically he's an adult, so let's not make it seem like she's a pedophile. Right. But how old are they though?
These are valid questions.
Like, are they 30 or late 20s or?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because he's a kid compared to you.
In comparison.
And and he's grieving. I mean, I know Natalie wasn't his mom.
She didn't really know that he was Matt's son at first.
Yeah, but now you do.
But you're right, bitch.
And you still going on with it and also using it to get information.
Right. When you know that he likes you, so he's gonna. All right. So you want to go back to the library where Joe got caught stealing books?
Yep. Because we've covered every other major part of this episode. The library. At first I had a question towards the beginning of the episode where I was like, do you think Joe will get caught stealing any more books? But that's not even a concern anymore. Like, who cares about that?
Who cares about books?
As we said, Joe's boss has really been a terrible volunteer coordinator towards him. Like, so rude, so cold, so standoffish. She calls him out on he did steal the book, but he admitted to taking it home to read. So he covered it up. I'm glad he hadn't already sold it yet, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
I was like, well, how are you getting it back?
Right. But he hadn't sold it yet. So amidst that conversation, Joe's boss, which we don't know her name. I don't know if we'll ever know her name because he just refers to her as my boss.
My boss.
He doesn't refer to her as a person other than my boss. But she basically calls Joe out saying almost like, oh, you're so privileged. You think you can just do whatever and take books. And Joe reveals to her that he grew up in poverty and is not this rich person that she thinks he is. And then we see a shift in her. We see her start being nice. We see her offering him the position that she denied him of before, of reading books to the kids. We see her bring him a book to read because she feels like he could relate to the character. You start hearing her kind of start disclosing a little information about her own life and her own self, because I would have never thought she had kids at all. I don't know why, just she doesn't seem like the nurturing type because she was so cold towards Joe. But then you find out she has a daughter. We don't know why the daughter lives with her dad these days, but obviously something happened to where it seems like the daughter was with her and then chose not to be. We don't know how old the child is. We don't know if it's because we don't know anything, but we see that she has, it seems like, a lot of pain. And the inner dialogue that I didn't think we would get this season starts anymore past Natalie, starts to come back, where Joe is questioning, are you flirting with me?
Yes. And I love that was a very excellent way for the episode to end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very into this obsession. I want this. I actually want this. I don't know why, but I want it. I want it.
Yeah, so now we are left to decide, is Joe's boss interested in him now that she doesn't think he's this rich, privileged person? What is Joe going to do with that? Because Joe obviously knows she'll get killed.
Right. You know you can't fucking bring a session around love because she's gonna fucking kill it.
Love comes back and finds out. So you see him again trying to be a better husband for Love, where he's like, what are you doing? I can't have this happen. But it's so interesting what I like about this time.
Okay.
Because every other obsession that Joe has had, it was instantly. So from the moment he met whoever,
you're right.
From their first interaction, he's obsessed.
You're right.
He is interacting with this person.
This is a grown obsession.
Yes. So this is going to be a different type of obsession if they explore this.
Will it be more intense?
Yes, because Joe has been interacting with her the entire show, actually. And never have we ever heard, like, I was actually shocked for it to come back. But that's because there was a shift in her. Because she was behaving differently towards him. Like, I could see with her for sure why he would think, are you flirting with me? Like, you know, and it was different though, because the thing about Joe is he is actually a very perceptive person, so he can read the room. So you were noticing that this woman that didn't even think you were good enough to read books to the kids, she is suddenly grabbing her necklace like she's nervous to interact with you. She's giving you books, which is what Natalie did. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, and maybe you could do your, you know, your magic and fix the book if you want to, knowing how much he enjoys that. So it's kind of like, this is going to be different. And this is only episode 4. This is going to be different because, like, Joe is committed to Love because I still believe because of Henry. I don't think it's solely because of her, because he's continuing to see who she is, and that's just not who the type of woman he's ever wanted. However, this is where commitment comes into play with relationships and especially marriages, because he is committed to try to make it work with her, but they haven't had like that type of relationship since he was about to kill her. Like, we can't forget that he's only with her because she's got pregnant, and he wasn't going to kill her and kill his child.
Right. That was the only reason.
It'll be interesting. It's just interesting this season because you see Theo, he genuinely likes Love. It's unfortunate because she's married. I don't know what kind of mommy issues he has too, because why are you with, like, Matthew's not even his actual real dad. Matthew is his stepdad. Why are you choosing to be with your stepdad over your mom? We don't really know. So
wait. Neither one of those kids. He's not either one of their parents.
No, Matthew said because was it Joe? Was he talking to Joe or Love? He was talking to I think it was Joe.
Okay.
When he found Joe passed out in his yard, and they're talking about parenthood and whatever. I believe it doesn't matter, but he said that he wasn't ready to be a father either, but she already had a kid. When he was married to her mom, or his mom, I mean. So no, that's not his child, because I don't know how old Matthew is, but I don't think any of them are supposed to be old enough to have a 20-year-old.
That's fair.
So yeah, no, that's not his son. But when she got remarried to whoever she's married to now, he doesn't like any of what's happening over there. And so he's over here instead of over there. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. But then also, so we have that Theo, I believe, genuinely likes Love. And then we have Joe's boss, who I believe is genuinely becoming interested in Love. I mean, Joe. But then we have this whole marriage in the middle of all of that. So it's just interesting because it's not like, yeah, even with the obsession that Joe had, he didn't sleep with her. He could have, and he chose not to honor his marriage and his family. But Love, let's go back here for a second, because she said something that I just thought was really interesting, because it's almost like she's trying to be there for Theo. And I think that the side of them who they fall for, Love and Joe, is people that they feel like need them, because like someone needing them will ensure that that person doesn't reject them or neglect them or abandon them. And then that kind of helps with the fears of that they both have in that way. So if you notice, Joe has fallen for these quote unquote damsel in distress that he needed to rescue, and Love, the killing that she was doing before, because she felt like she needed to protect Joe. So we have that. So I could see where Love is in some ways trying to be there for Theo, because he doesn't have a good relationship with his dad. She can relate to that because of her mom. He doesn't have a good relationship with his mom, obviously, either. Then Natalie's dead, missing. Well, now we know dead, though Love knew all along because she's the one that killed her. But so I see Love like trying to be there for Theo in that scene leading up to what caused him to kiss her, because he's asking her like, how do you deal with this? Because when her brother was killed, there's people all around, all up in your business, whatever. And a statement she made, a quote, is that publicity has a way of flattening you into a type, because people will never let you forget what happened. Yeah. And I love that she said that, because whether you have a platform or not, because before I had a platform, for whatever reason, certain things that have happened in my life were things that I went through that the public had knowledge of it. So like, as I've talked about on here before, the girl's dad was killed. Sometimes I'll say he died, whatever, depending on what, but he was murdered. And it was a very public thing because of, one, the ages of the people involved. So the ages of the kids involved at the time were 12, 15, and 17. So 3 teenage boys that already had gang ties and previous whatever. But then furthermore, the youngest one fled the state. So then they had it on the news of them looking for him. And it was like, my auntie in New York reached out to me because she saw it on the news there. So it's kind of like a very public thing. Then every time each of them had a separate trial or situation that they went through, because the youngest one looked a little different. So it was just something that was very, very public. That's just one thing. There have been other things that I've gone through, kind of like our marriage and all of the, fighting and all that stuff. It's a lot of public stuff that when people know all this stuff about you. It sucks because they sometimes continue to just see you through that lens versus realizing you're just a regular person that went through something. You're not necessarily what you've been through, you know? So I thought that was just a really interesting statement that she made. But it'll be interesting to see how these little emotional affairs that they're having because Joe's boss is going to be a different type of obsession if they go there because they already have a relationship and that's his boss. And you see her suddenly being nice and he's like, okay, wait a minute. What we doing? You know what I'm saying? And so it's someone drawn to him versus him being drawn to someone. Because Natalie, he was drawn to her from the end of season 2. We saw her sitting by the pool. Hello, you. And we knew she was gonna get killed. We said it.
We just didn't know that it was gonna be love and so quickly and
literally the first episode. Like what? So yeah, y'all. I'm trying to make sure I don't have.
We want to talk about Gil's secret.
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just letting you go ahead.
Yeah, we kind of like glossed over it, but we didn't actually go into it.
Yeah. So so that's basically that's part of their plan. Is they're trying to their original plan, because remember when I said that Joe wasn't trying to kill this nigga,
right? So
he is trying to figure out ways to let him go with leverage, right? And so he's saying, well, tell me a secret, bro. Like, give me something that like you don't want anybody else to know, and like if it's good enough, like I'll take that secret, you'll take my secret, and we'll just go about our lives. And Gil's like, okay. So he's sitting there trying to think. He talks about this time where he like had sex with a lady at a church thing, like, and
that I feel like he was lying.
He absolutely made all of that up. Like,
yeah.
He was like, she's one of those fun types, you know? Like, what is that? What does that mean?
So we did it, and it was, rough. And Joe's like, what does that mean?
Define rough. And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, because you're lying.
Right, absolutely. So when Joe I don't know if they have a conversation about this, but they have a baby monitor so she can see and hear everything that's happening down there. And so when they don't really have success with like Gil giving them a secret, Love calls her or has a conversation with her mom. I don't want to dwell on her or whatever, but I just want to say she is not really the best parent. Like, and I don't know that like now's the time to start trying to be that person.
Right.
But it's just like she's just very detached. Like even in the conversation that they were having with so the reason they were there is because she was taking the baby for a couple of days, and in the conversation, Love asked about Dad's guy's side. And from the context clues we get, he's like an investigator or somebody that's like a tracker, like somebody that's really like into finding people's dirt and stuff like that. So somebody that a rich family would definitely want to have around, right? Right. And Love gives her some bullshit story about the guy that she rented the place from. He's kind of weird, and I just want to double check before I end up in trouble with the IRS. And her mom's like, I can relate with that. So she's like, I'll give you her number, or I'll give you Sai's number. Did you feel weird that she has such fast access to somebody like this? And like, do you feel like Love is going to use him more than this time?
Well, I also...
Do you think that she could use it to find out more about her husband?
I would. It's unfortunate because why wouldn't you have done that before? Already. But I just think... I feel like her mom, though, let's go pause here for a second. I feel like her mom shouldn't have just believed that. I think
that's how detached she
is.
Like
I just
from
think
that
her
relationship.
mom, knowing love, knowing the history, knowing whatever, I just think that shouldn't have been even remotely believable. But you just, one, you don't care. But I also think, Love, you should have been used Sai to find out more information about Joe before. If you have access to people like that.
Right.
But are you blinded by love? You know what I mean? Love, figuratively, and yourself. Because she has so many blinders. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I just think it's also interesting that it took you this long to bring him out. You know what I mean? Like, if it were me, I wouldn't even remotely expect that Gil would have really given him anything anyway. Like, Joe trying to trust him to give him a real secret after you already didn't trust him when he said, yes, this stays between us, which is the whole reason you kept him in the kill box. I like that better. Yeah. I just think it should have been then that you said, hey, I know a guy. And I don't know. I just think the timing of her bringing it out is weird. Because if I had access to that, I would have been, listen, but I just wonder how much, again, Love has had to do any of this on her own. Because if it's her dad's guy and she didn't have any type of connection with him, it seems like her parents have fixed her messes. And she did say, I've never had to do this. So it's interesting seeing her, I guess, grow to be... Because I like that she didn't kill Gil. Like, you shouldn't have busted him up.
We don't know that wasn't her intention, though.
You're right. You're right. What a rolling pin, though. Like, really, Love?
I mean, what she knock out Natalie with?
An axe?
Oh, yes. She did knock her out. I forgot. She
chopped her down.
Chopped her down.
Chop
Got
us
it.
out. Chop us down. We go chop. We go chop. Yeah. But okay. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. It's just interesting continuing to see them evolve as parents, as people, because Love is trying, and it was actually a pretty good plan that she came up with. It's probably the first plan she's ever had to come up with, honestly. So, and then you see her coming up with the information, let me reach out to Sai. But you know what I thought was interesting?
What's that?
How, one, Joe really has taken 2 bodies out of the bakery in broad daylight. I think it's worth noting that it's never nighttime when this happens. It's always literally broad daylight.
Because Love don't think about shit.
But
Love dragged that body herself.
Yeah, but not out of the bakery. Like, he put it in the car and took the body to his house to hang, quote unquote, so he hung himself at home.
No. I'm talking about initially.
Oh, yeah.
She moved that body herself the first time, but after the plan was in place, he had to. Yeah. But okay, really quick. So definitely Sai had the tea, okay? And this is where we get to.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine. This is where we get to like what really happens to him. But basically, a fake fund, Bennett's fund. The wife cheated to get her son into Dartmouth.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wrote Gil, but it definitely was the wife.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of cover-ups for the sexual deviance of their son. And a lot of this stuff he didn't know. So he knew about the first assault. He assumed it was a one and done. Mm-hmm. He learned his lesson. And unfortunately, it didn't stop. Mm-mm. And instead of involving him in it, his wife took it upon herself to try and resolve it without him. So that goes into the misappropriating of the funds, all the way down to the cover-ups of the other sexual mishaps he's had. We'll say that, right?
Yep.
There was also a part that I mean, we don't have to like super talk about it, but there was a one point where Love was looking at Joe and she said, "Tell me not to panic." And Joe is starting to compare Love to his bullies and his mother.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember when I said that Love is probably not going to make it out this season. This is probably going to be a planted seed as to why.
Because he was super triggered, and that's why I said Love brings out the anger in him. Love brings out not the bad in him, but that's when you see him really. You're not gonna make me kill for you. That's where that
he
came
fucking put his foot
about.
down.
Yeah, and she kind of looked like, "Whoa, my bad," you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's that, but then also we see, and it's not then, but it's again him in Love. I just think it's very interesting that one, as many people as Joe has killed, because he still has killed people, as many dead bodies as he's had to dispose of and all this stuff. It's just interesting how stuck he was when they first saw Gil's body and found that Gil had killed himself. It almost seemed like he was traumatized, like he's sitting there just lost in his head. We're not hearing his inner dialogue, so he's just sitting there stuck. We got Love talking to him saying we have to come up with a plan, this, that, and the other, and then she has to yell his entire Joseph whatever
Deontay
Gold or something. Joseph, I think it was Joseph Quentin Goldberg.
It was something with a little melanin in it.
Yeah, that I was like, okay, Joe, okay, I feel it, you know. But yeah,
Joe Marion Goldberg.
Okay, you know what I'm saying. But he seemed traumatized, and I just thought it's just really interesting. You see how much Joe really has only like been in survivor mode since he killed his dad. Like he does things because he kind of has to. It's not in his nature to want to just do wrong to people. Like he didn't want to frame Matthew. He's the one this whole time that says, that is not who we are. That is not what we're going to do. You are not going to make me kill for you. So like his moral compass is very solid, and that's how he determines how he's going to kill somebody, which sounds crazy, but at the same time it's like it's not just for it's for a specific purpose, and it's to protect somebody from someone who is causing that person harm. And that's how it started with his dad. So it's just interesting though when you see him encounter things that are like suicide or something like that. It's like just how traumatized and helpless, and like we can see it because he was just stuck, just sitting there. And Love had to snap him out of it. I do think though, I still say she's a liability. Like I still say she is. You've done so much in 4 episodes. This has been a lot, Love, and it's literally only the 4th episode. And now we have someone that Joe is going to feel the need, like he needs to rescue her. He's going to want to find more about why she doesn't have her child, or what was her upbringing like, to where now she feels relatable to him. He's going to feel more like of a connection, I feel like, with his boss. But even that aside, and we said it before, I just wonder how long Love is going to last, if she's going to last this season. And then if she does, what does that look like? Because we're not even halfway through, and she has literally been doing the most, and she's playing around with Theo, and that just makes me mad because you are such a hypocrite. Like, you killed Natalie, and now look at you.
You killed Natalie and you didn't even know that Joe had even did anything with her.
Exactly. And you allowed this man to kiss you because, like you said, you didn't pull back.
Right.
Don't do that. Okay.
She just got froze. Like, you know how like when a nigga like trying to kiss you or she don't want to kiss and you be like that. She didn't pull back. She just she stayed where she was, let him come to her, and then after he kissed her, she was like, nah, like.
Because first of all, he wouldn't have been that close to me in the first place if I didn't want it. First of all, him flirting with me. Okay, the first time we could let that slide because he didn't know you at first. But once you've already established that you're married and then he continues to flirt, ain't no way, oh, come to the bakery whenever you want. No, you're leading him on. And it makes me mad because she's such a hypocrite. And it's kind of like that may be part of, too, what causes her demise. Because Joe is going to be like, you killed Natalie because, like, look at what you're doing. You're such a hypocrite. Da da da. And it might not even be that he intentionally. That may be
an accident.
That may be the only irrational kill that he has. That it's not
very
even going to
could be.
Yeah, it's not going to be well thought out. It's just going to be they're arguing. They get into it, and he accidentally kills her. Yep. And that's going to be like how the season's going to end. That's going to happen. If that happens, that's not going to happen till episode 10. Ain't no way.
Absolutely.
That's like at the end of episode 10.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So we're shitting on Love, but let's talk about her plan real quick. And I think we've covered everything after that.
Yeah.
So Love's plan, basically 2 birds and 1 stone plan. So we have a dead Natalie that everybody's looking for, right? Okay. So, and then we've got Gil, who's dead as well, right? And on their property. Okay. So what are we going to do? We're going to plant the axe that I used to chop her down with.
Chop style. Yep.
And we're going to press Gil's dead ass hands on it.
Yes.
We're going to take it to the search, which is the only reason why I'm going to the search. I'm not really here to look for her.
Right. Because I know we ain't gonna find her.
I already know where she at, and I know we look in the wrong place.
Right.
Okay, so she takes the now fingerprinted axe, digs into the ground a little bit, so it looks like it's been there for a little bit. I mean, she could have did a better job, but that's not what I'm here for. And then they find it. And then while she's doing that, Joe is, like Tam said, dragging his body all through town in the daytime.
Literally sun shining. I don't think we've seen a cloudy day.
I feel like when Joe put his hat on, though, like that shows you that niggas can't see him.
I feel it.
So, okay. So while he's doing that, Gil's wife is out of town, which works well for why he was being in the basement for so long, because we don't have a person directly looking for him. Okay, and then he takes his body, stages him so it looks like he hung himself in his own house. He pins a letter, not pins, but pins a letter, and it's basically saying like, yo, bitch, I love you to death. I love everything about our life, but I messed up. I tried to be with Natalie. Natalie was trying to play me, basically. And I wasn't going to be the only person she was talking to. So, like, I fucking flipped my shit and I lost it and I killed her and I didn't mean to do it. But now that I did it, I can't live with this shit and I'm up out of here. And
I threw her body in the ocean.
Oh, and I threw her body. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
So they don't keep looking for a body
in the forest. So yes, and I threw her ass in the fucking ocean. And I'm up out of here. Like, that's basically what the letter said. More eloquently, I guess, but that's basically what the letter said. And then, so then that's how we tie up this messy ass story. And
hold on, because what I was trying to say before I
died. Go ahead.
Hold on, let me cough again. I don't even know what happened. But what he said is, because he didn't know, it's worth noting, he didn't know about what his son did, and he found out, but his wife knew. And
so sorry. Yes.
He said, I basically, like, he made it seem like he knew he had these demons he was battling, which is not true at all.
At all.
They were passed on to our son. I can't watch him go down the same path that I feel like is my fault. Maybe you can raise him to be a better man. Really, because there's no way. Yeah, there's no way that his wife wouldn't think that wasn't believable.
Right, exactly. When you're giving details about the secret that you have, that obviously somehow while you was out of town he found out about.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and when I look at like a suburban like neighborhood, that shit is very flyable. Like that shit will tie up loose ends, make people leave their doors unlocked again. I think that Joe did. It's true. Like I think that Love's plan was great, but I think without Joe fucking fitting those puzzle pieces together, that shit would have still been really shoddy. Because like I said, she could have digged that axe a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And I don't know that if she was in charge of the guild part, she would have did all of this.
No, absolutely not.
Because she don't be thinking about stuff, and that's the thing is that Joby thinks about stuff so meticulously that like all those details there, she would have never gotten into the letter. I don't think.
Right? No, and yeah, it's like okay, the murder's solved because the detectives are out here feeling like we really did some good detective work. Y'all really ain't did nothing, you know what I'm saying? But they feel like they did their job. It's all over the news. I do wonder if the truth will come out about that or if that will remain as is.
As the story?
Mm-hmm. Because it's still early in the season, you know? This is a completely different type of season, so I can't even say, other than the fact that I believe Love is going to get killed the last episode. Like, I just can't. I don't know. There's so many twists and turns. I would have never expected Joe's boss to start liking him.
It definitely seems that way. Oh, and Sherry sent flowers to Love for
taking up for her.
For stepping in between. So I don't know if that means that Sherry's going to be like around more, or I don't know what that means.
I forgot about that. Yep.
But if she around more, then my prediction is going to be right.
But you know what I think? I think that Sherry, the reason why she's the way she is towards people is she doesn't think she's going to be accepted. So she would rather seem powerful and whatever, like,
and she's the one accepting or not.
Yeah, when really it's based off insecurity. But I think Love, like her feeling appreciated by Love, the way when knowing she's been such a bitch towards her because she knows she has been. I think that was just something. I'm not going to say, oh, I think she's a better person. I still hate her, but I think the flowers may have been genuine. I think she probably genuinely appreciated that moment of feeling appreciated.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I still hate her though. So,
absolutely,
guys. Yes, this has been Youuuu season 3, episode 4. As you can see, it was a slow build up, I'd say. Because at first I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be a kind of quiet episode. But a lot happened in that episode.
A lot happened. But I think that in order for us to move further in the story, I think we had to tie these loose ends up. Or there would have been too much shit in the wind. And there was no way that it would have been really believable, I feel like.
Yeah. And I feel like we would have got lost in what to keep up with. And so tying the dead bodies, like, okay, now we're not solving a murder. So is it going to go just back to regular obsession, Joe?
It
you know what I mean?
It should, but is Love going to allow that? Like, here's my thing with Love real quick, because I know we trying to, okay. But, like, what did she not already know about this nigga before she decided to commit to him in this way? Like, the reactions and, like, the fucking, like, knee-jerk reactions that she has to like the things that he's already been doing is like so weird to me. And it's just like, bitch, like the best thing you could do is hope that he doesn't have sex with her. Like you can't. I don't think that you can help somebody like this stop from being obsessed with people.
And that's
not if you're not a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
And the thing is, she didn't care about him sleeping with her. Like she
It was
when they had that argument, she said she didn't care.
So it's
but are you obsessed with her?
But how are you trying? Like, this is a classic case of a bitch trying to change a nigga. Like, you can't. Like, how do y'all?
He is.
They haven't even had like a real truthful conversation about what that's about. Like, and here you are trying to like change that out of him. Like, that you signed up for this.
Yep, you did.
So that's just kind of what, like, he's dealing with your craziness. You got to fucking deal with his fucking obsessions, like, or whatever the case may be. But like, I just feel like I don't know what this like. I don't get it. Like this, like every time, like I'm not gonna say being regular, but being himself. Like, we got to worry about you swinging pins and axes and shit. Like,
but I think a lot of females when they feel like they can change somebody. They think that somebody's going to be different for them. I say women just because I can relate to that. You know, I've been there. I don't know if men think like that. They probably do too, but I'm just going to speak on behalf of what I know. I think a lot of times we think, oh, it'll be different with us, but they are who they are. Oh, I just have to do A, B, and C, and then he'll realize, because again, love knows that the only reason she's still around is because she was pregnant. Like, she knows that. So I just think she feels like if I can keep him from being obsessed, then he's not going to abandon me. So I think it's out of a fear of abandonment, which it makes sense. But I think she's just caught up in the typical, oh, I think I could change him. I think he'll be different for me. And that's never how it goes. Because as we see, he's trying to change for her, but who you are is still there. Now you found a new obsession, and it's going to be different.
Because finally, you can like, I feel like I'm like too hard on like love, but finally you can fucking breathe. Like, damn, nigga. Like, for the past like however long, like I've been going up behind you with a dustpan and a broom. Like, I can finally fucking breathe. Like, and this is what I like doing when I'm breathing. Like, I like to be obsessed with people. Like, some niggas like to play video games. I like to obsess over people. Like,
yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, because when you're in crisis mode, because they've been in survivor mode, you don't get to think about the things that you appreciate and the things that you enjoy doing. You're just trying to survive. You're trying to make sure y'all don't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But now that that's behind you and everything seems believable, and they may keep that as believable because it would take some serious evidence that I don't think the
cops are about to find.
Yeah, to make them really look into that case, unless maybe they somehow check the security cameras in the town square and realize that
dragging a body.
Yeah, but we know that's not going to happen because they should have did that. So, I think this is going to be very interesting. But Theo, quote unquote, went back to college, but did he? Like, I don't think that's the last of him.
Yeah,
and I want to see how far love goes with that, because I don't think it's, and then he leaves and then it's over. Episode 4.
I'd like to see Theo be obsessed with love. I'd like that to see, so she could fucking get a dose. Like, I like to see that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yes, guys. So again, this has been Youuuu season 3, episode 4. Khris, tell the people where to find you. Look in the episode notes.
I was going to say, look in the episode notes. Search All Docked Up and Shenanigans with Friends wherever you listen to dope podcasts, and it's there.
Yeah, just the link to her Twitter and Linktree is always in the episode notes, especially for these. Now, her Twitter is always there, but for the Youuuu episodes, her Linktree is as well. So just look in the episode notes. Check out an All Docked Up live show. It's really, really good. I love the way they take something tragic, even if it's not as tragic as other documentaries. It's still usually pretty sad, but respectfully bring humor and make it a little bit more palatable, because sometimes I can't, like, even the one with the kids, I could at least tolerate it, even though I want to kill everybody involved that work there. What the hell is wrong with you? But you know, so yeah, follow her. I guess that's it. So we will be back soon to do Youuuu season 3, episode 5. Remember, if you tweet at us,
we have not watched it.
Yes. So please don't spoil anything for us, because we are doing it one at a time so that it's unfolding for us, just like it would be if we were watching it if Netflix didn't put all of it up there at the same time. So, thank you so much, guys. We will talk to you soon.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...